Manual GT3. Everyone keeps going on about how reliable Porsches are. I'm so sorry, but they are so not reliable. This has got like less than 10,000 kilometers on it. The front steering rack is knocking. The axle is leaking oil everywhere. And the clutch failed, so it needs a new clutch. Every time you go over a speed bump in this car, the front end just kind of knocks. And yeah, I don't know, I don't really buy that these Porsches are that reliable, because even on our shop Turbo S, the battery failed. The car's got less than 10,000 kilometers on it. Another fun fact, this car and the shop Turbo S, they're both under warranty. The battery failed on our Turbo S before we even touched it, right? It just sat there for a week. We sent it to Porsche, not covered in the warranty. We sent this to Porsche, steering rack not covered in the warranty, because it's a wear and tear item supposedly. Clutch not covered in the warranty, wear and tear item again, but again, less than 10,000 kilometers, like come on. And the axle CV boot not covered under warranty for, I don't know what reason that could be. But yeah, Porsches, you guys are not that reliable. Everyone that goes on about Porsche reliability, it ain't the one. Come check this out. Oh, it's both sides that are leaking. Look at this. So we obviously have the clutch out now, but axle is leaking oil all over the chassis. Not as bad, but still leaking. So this GT3 has our full system, that's headers, exhaust and downpipes. We applied our stage 1 plus onto it. So all the filters are out, custom headers. It sounds sick now compared to before. It's a manual as well, so adds to that driving experience. We're gonna dyno it now, see what power it makes.
It's definitely fun to see a manual car being dynoed. I've never seen it before. We actually put up a camera right on top of the gear lever, so you guys can get to see like how it happens.
Check engine light comes on when you're dynoing it. It's normal.
GT3 RS I've seen has a check engine light. Everyone on Instagram you see that sounds good, like without a doubt, all of them have a check engine light. So it's like,
I think it's the only Porsche other than the blue one we have that does not sound like a vacuum cleaner.
Driven it now. It's okay. Gonna give it another shot. Gonna take it to Half Desert. Gonna do a shoot. Have some fun with it. You know, light up the rear tires. See if I can understand what the Porsche hype is all about, because so far I don't get it, man.
Yeah, coming in hot, just like the fajita. I write what I live, my life in the speaker. I'm nice with the flow, just like the demeanor. I'm feeding my fam, I'm feeding the meter. They got the iron while I got the steamer. I bring the fire, but you never seen her. I testify, I don't need a subpoena. They want my soul, better go to Korea.
Still not quite convinced that Porsche is the one. I don't know, I guess maybe I need more seat time in the car. The thing is, the GT3, I guess if you're like a racetrack guy and you only drive your car on the racetrack and you know, you like to go to car meets on a Sunday and like, you know, polish the paintwork, then the Porsche is for you. But if you like to drive the car, actually get feedback from the car, and get a McLaren. If you drive it in the streets, it's just so much more fun. wicked. So that's the freshly built engine in now. It makes around 860 wheel on pump gas and 700 foot-pounds. That's without Senna cams, so that's really good. But yeah, it sounds wicked. We're now gonna scrub it down a little bit, snag the car, and then tune it on ethanol.
The mic does not, like, you can't pick it up. It's like mental.
Like sonic booms. It's because it's got stainless steel exhaust. All the other McLarens have got titanium exhausts. So stainless steel is a bit thicker. Well, this particular system is a bit thicker, so it resonates a bit more. So this build, there's no Senna cams. Pretty good going for no Senna cams. There's also no clutch in there. So you see we limited the torque to under 850 foot-pounds. For a stock clutch, your limit is around 840 foot-pounds. That's the absolute edge of what that stock clutch will take. Pretty good numbers for a relatively straightforward build. Once you drop the clutch in there, then you can probably push it to 900 foot-pounds. Probably another 60 wheel horsepower as well. Senna cams in there, we'll be seeing 1300, 1350 wheel quite easily. Purple 720S, obviously we blew the engine up, but how did we blow the engine up? Well, this was an engine built by Magnus. Magnus, great guys. They build a couple of McLaren engines. We've seen a couple out in the wild. Usually we refuse to tune anybody's engine unless it's ours, because you know, everyone likes to point the finger at the person tuning the engine because we're the last people that touched it. It's just a liability issue. But this is a very unique scenario. Magnus are great guys. We decided to tune it. Unfortunately, during the dyno session, it spun the crank hub. The crank hub is something I've spoken about. It's a really, really important part that needs to be upgraded if you're going for over 1,000 wheel, because it will spin. It damaged all of the valves, all of the pistons. Fortunately, not the sleeves, but we rebuilt that engine. The owner of this car actually has an exhaust fabrication company. So he had his own exhaust fabricated. It's a stainless steel X-pipe. I'm not gonna lie, it sounds really good. It's really loud. We have the 765 LT. It's getting a steel rotor conversion. You might be wondering, why is it getting a steel rotor conversion? The owner of this car tracks it every weekend. And when you track it every weekend and you've got ceramic brakes, it's really expensive to maintain. It's more cost effective to put a set of steelies on there. So in this case, we're using gyro disc. It just makes track maintenance a bit cheaper. But if your McLaren lives on the road, brakes will last the lifetime of the car. You know, ceramics last a very long time, but when they really get up to temperature on track, they deteriorate really fast. So yeah, these are the rotors. You can see they're silver, right? So usually when rotors are silver, it means that they're steel rotors. They're made of a metal. When they're like black or like really dark gray, they're carbon ceramic, so they're made of carbon fibers. It's like a carbon fiber wafers just all layered together and compacted. Ceramics are the best. They don't warp. They're just really expensive, you know. The brake fade on ceramics are really good as well. Like, they don't fade as fast as steel rotors. But yeah, the McLaren GT cars, like the GT3, the GT4, the racing cars that see a lot of track time, they use steel rotors. Wrapping up with this 765 LT, we put track map on there for him. It makes less power, it makes around 780 wheel, but it runs super rich. We have lambdas down to 0.74, so the richer you run the engine, the cooler that the engine runs. For track, you kind of want to do that. It keeps things cool. We've also got on there our downpipes, inlets, air filters. On this car, the cats actually collapsed, so the cats had melted due to, you know, it only being used on the track. Now you won't have that issue with our catless downpipes. It's also got air filters on there. The car will be a bit more lively on the track, and it'll run cooler. Big bonus. We wrapped up the street map just over 820 wheel, so that's on 98 octane. For track, it makes around 780 wheel. A stock 765 makes 765 wheel. It's tuned pretty much to the limit for what you can use it for on track. But yeah, we'll get it back to the customer and they'll be racing it this weekend.